Hey ESM, it's Pastor Lee.
Hey, it's Meredith.
Hey guys, it's Lauren.
Hi, I'm Eli. I'm Jake.
Welcome to ESM.
Welcome to ESM Sports Center. Youth Center.
And welcome to ESM.
So excited to have you join us tonight. Hey ESM, we're so happy to have you join us tonight. I'm Pastor Landley, and we're starting a new series called Left on Red. Have you ever been left on red and it really just kind of hurt your feelings or made you frustrated or maybe even angry? And sometimes, do you feel like maybe you've been left on red with God? Well, keep tuning in because we're going to get to that later in our lesson. But for now, look at our camp video. Just a reminder that you can still sign up for camp. We are still going to camp, so make sure that if you need to get a form, contact me and we will get you hooked up. But check it out now. Hey ESM, do not forget about your Speed the Light pledges. Remember that our goal this year is $10,000. We've talked a little bit about 1 in 1,000, but maybe you're a little skeptical about it, or you really feel like you don't have something you could do 1,000 times. How about you check out the Speed the Light video now?
So you want to be a part of Speed the Light, right? You want to help missionaries reach more people and tell them the good news of Jesus Christ. But you're a teenager. You don't have much to give, right? Wrong. God has gifted each of us in some way. Maybe you don't have a lot of money, but I am sure that you can shoot hoops, or you can swim forever, or you love to take pictures or something, right? Well, use that. Take the 1 in 1,000 challenge. It's simple. Find something you like to do and challenge yourself to do it 1,000 times. Maybe it's hitting golf balls or playing your guitar or dancing. Whatever it is, challenge yourself to do it 1,000 times. Then get the word out. Put it on social media, ask around, let people know what you're doing and that they can sponsor you and give towards Speed the Light. Then just make it happen. Kick the soccer ball or paint the picture. Do your 1 in 1,000 and help us speed the light to a world in darkness.
Man, I'm so excited for us to do a 1 in 1,000 day. When we get back together again, we will get that on the books. Start thinking about how God can use you on that day. But we're going to go ahead and move forward in our service. So if you guys could just join with us in worship, we're going to go ahead and sing a worship song and then go to our sermon.
Up from the ashes, your love has brought us out of the darkness and into the light, lifting our sorrows, bearing our burdens, healing our hearts. To our God, we lift up one voice. To our God, we lift up one song. To our God, we lift up one voice, singing hallelujah. To our God, we lift up one voice. To our God, we lift up one song. To our God, we lift up one voice, singing hallelujah. Singing hallelujah. Chains have been broken, and eyes have been opened, and armies rivals is starting to rise. Death is defeated, we are victorious, for you are alive. To God we lift up one voice. To God we lift up one song. To God we lift up one voice, singing hallelujah. To God we lift up one voice. To God we lift up one song. To God we lift up one voice, singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Singing hallelujah. Hallelujah. Make His praise. Make His praise. Glorious. Glorious. For His name is glorious. Making His praise glorious, glorious. Shout His God we lift up one voice. To our God we lift up one song. To our God we lift up one voice. Sing hallelujah. To our God we lift up one voice. To our God we lift up one song. To our God we lift up one voice. Sing hallelujah.
Hey guys, as I stated before, we are starting a new series tonight about being left on red. Have you ever been texting somebody and they were responding and you guys were having a conversation, but all of a sudden they stopped texting back, but you could see that they had seen the message? It's kind of like the ultimate insult, right? Like, you're not worth my time. And I do understand that some people are bad at texting back, as I am probably one of those people. But has there been a situation in your life where you were really having a hard time or an important conversation and they just left you hanging? Well, one time in my life, I was going through a situation and I was having kind of like a heart-to-heart or a deep conversation with Pastor Danny from back home. And when this was going on, he would respond to me. He's always been great about helping me through every season of my life. But I just saw that he left a specific message on red, and I like poured my heart out. I gave him the longest message ever, okay? So it probably would have came like 10 or 12 messages if it wasn't an iPhone, but it was so long and you had to scroll multiple times to get to the bottom, and he just read it and didn't say anything. And you know, at first I was like, okay, but then I was with somebody else. And when I was with that other person, he texted them back. And I was like, no, like, he can text that person, but not text me back. And I was a little defeated. And honestly, I started going through my mind, he doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't even care. Like, he would have taken time to text me back if it was really important to him. And I went through this whole scenario in my mind, ways I was gonna like ignore him or ways I was gonna tell him off in a text message and make myself feel better. But you know what happened? What happened was I went upstairs from the basement and I ended up getting like 3 text messages from him. The only reason that I didn't get his messages is because I had bad signal. And me and my friend had different phone carriers. So yes, that person got the text message, but their signal was way better than my signal. And I had to change my location. I had to move so that I could get the signal to get the messages. And when I got the messages, boy, did I kind of feel like a jerk. I definitely felt like, man, you shouldn't even have thought those things, or why would you think that he doesn't love you or he doesn't care? He obviously does. He's just sent you all of these messages of advice or prayer or maybe some decisions I needed to make to better myself. And in that moment, I realized how important it was that I be in the right location to get the messages that I needed. So we're going to go ahead and look at John 10:27. And it says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Here's the thing. These are Jesus' words, okay? Jesus is speaking at this moment, and he says, "My sheep hear my voice, and they know me, and they follow me." Have you ever felt like God just left you on red? Have you ever felt like you've had many conversations, many prayer times, and you've poured out your heart to God and nothing? Not even a little whisper. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? Do you even care, God? Do you even care that I'm going through this? Do you even care that I have this issue? And you just feel like God has left you alone. That he doesn't even care. That he is just going to leave you on red. And then you start to think, well, does God really care about me? Does God really love me? I mean, if he did love me, he would speak to me, right? He would tell me what to do, right? He would tell me what's for my future. He would be there with me. I wouldn't feel alone if he was here, right? Well, here's the thing. Have you ever thought about if you're the problem? No, that's not what I want to say. Okay. Here's the thing. Have you ever thought about if it was a signal problem, not a speaking problem? And what I mean by that is, what if it's a signal problem in the sense of maybe you're not where you're supposed to be? What if it's not that God isn't speaking to you, but that you are too far away from God that you can even hear him? What if our shepherd, our Lord, our God, our guidance is speaking to us every day, but yet we're not close enough to get a good enough signal to hear his voice? What if we need to move from where we are to where he needs us to be so that we can hear his direction for us and for our life? So what does that mean for us today, right? What if you've been listening to this and you recognize, well, dude, I've never heard God. I've never had him speak to me. I have never had a moment with God. I must be really far out. Here's the thing. You're probably closer than you think you are. The problem is never with our shepherd. He keeps sending us messages. Just like we feel like we've been left unread, the reality is that we have bad reception. And we are not receiving the messages that he's already sent to us. Whether that's your poor choices, whether that's laziness, whether that's having no desire to move closer to God. But some of us have removed ourselves out of range of God's proximity. Some of us have chosen to no longer pursue to be in the range of God's voice. As the scripture said in John 10:27, that my sheep hear my voice and I know them and they follow me. We should know his voice. We should hear him. Now, hearing God sounds weird. No, I have never audibly heard God's voice. But I have felt in my spirit that I should do something. It's like conviction. You know when you get that feeling of, oh, I shouldn't be doing this? And when you get that feeling and you decide to take a 180 and go the other direction, just like you have that conviction, God can tell you things to do in your life. Just like when I decided to come here and be a pastor in Sedalia. I didn't audibly hear God's voice, but I knew that he was telling me to come here. I felt it in my spirit. I felt that direction. I felt that peace. I felt that urgency to go. And so some of you might be here and you're like, well, Pastor Lily, I've never heard God's voice. I don't think I ever will. You don't have to hear it audibly, but you should be close enough in range that when you take a step in any direction in your life, that when you make a decision, you know whether or not that God is telling you to do it. As we close, I have a short video for us to watch, and it's about being still and hearing God's voice. Some of this quarantine I feel like has been good for those that need to get away from the distractions, the things that are holding them back from God. I think that we have a lot of distractions in our normal life. We're so busy that we decide to fit God in if we have time. And it should be the other way around. We should fit God in first and everything else come second. But we live in a culture where being busy is important and being busy is popular, and being so involved and overwhelmed by everything that we're doing that it's good, which is crazy. It's crazy. We shouldn't be so overwhelmed and so busy that we decide when we're going to put God in or where we're going to put him in. So watch this video, listen to it. Maybe learn to be still. Learn to be quiet. Learn to get rid of the distractions. Focus on getting closer to range, getting closer to signal, to hearing God's voice. And maybe that the reason we haven't been able to hear God's voice, and maybe the reason that you haven't been able to hear God's voice is, like I said, not because he's not talking, but because you've been so distracted by everything else around you, by being so far out of range that you can't get a good enough signal to hear his voice. So check out the video now.
In the quiet silence, there is an eternal conversation between Creator and creation. But we can hardly hear. It's the violence of sound, the breakneck speed of things. Has noise become our only defense? But we are drawn by a whisper that we might hear and retune the senses as he waits for our response.
So I want to take this moment for you to just have some self-reflection. Maybe just close your eyes if you're in your room by yourself, or even if you're out in your living room watching this right now. Maybe just take a moment to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. Where do I stand with God right now? Do I hear his voice? Do I feel like I've been left on red? Do I feel like he hears me, but he never speaks to me? If that's you tonight, I want you to take this time during this worship song. Just maybe offer yourself up to God. Maybe just make a fresh start and say, God, I've been lazy. God, I have removed myself from being close to you. God, I haven't made the best choices in these moments in this last season. But right here, right now, I decide that moving forward, I'm going to be close enough to you that I know when you are speaking to me. And maybe tomorrow you get up and you actually decide to do what's best for your relationship with God. Why don't you join us in worship in our last song? And just think about the words that are being spoken. You can sing with us, you can sit and just listen, whatever you need to do. But let God be the priority in these last couple minutes.
One with God, the Lord Most High, hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name! Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus. Didn't want heaven without us, so Jesus, you brought it down. Sin was great, your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. Death could not hold you. The veil torn before you. Silent super succeeding grave. The heavens are roaring, praise of your glory. For you are raised to life again. You have no rival, you have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus.
Wow, God is just so amazing. Man, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being a part of our service. Thank you for being a part of our tribe. Hey, just a reminder, we're gonna do a Zoom right after this. I already sent the link to you. So go ahead, log off of YouTube and get into our Zoom meeting. We'd love to talk to you about our service tonight. See you guys next week.